Until the lions have their historians, tales of the hunt shall always glorify the hunter.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Ruach and Emmet. Any content provided by our guests or authors are of their perspective and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. The purpose of this broadcast is to provide education and thought-provoking discussions. This is the perspective.
Alrighty. Welcome back to The Perspective. I'm your host, Anthony Body Sr. I have my co-host here today, Elder Tim Kelly. And then we have our special guest. He's not new to the room. He's not new to the studio. We have our dear Elder Prince Amiel here with us in the studio. And we got a good topic that we're going to discuss and talk about today. So when you guys are ready to hear this, we want to be able to engage in conversation and also engage with you all in a way that really stands out, particularly on this topic that we're going to talk about today, and really get into the brain and the mind of our elder, Prince Amiel, which he's going to bring a great perspective today. So with that being said, Prince, welcome back to the studio. Welcome back to The Perspective. And I hope you've been doing great. How you been doing so far, man?
I've been doing wonderful. Just got to go the way I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I don't let it do anything else.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm glad to be here with you, brother. It's been a minute, man.
I know it's been a couple of months, but like I said, we
saw him
cool.
at the at the concert. That was when.
But we wasn't breaking.
That was about a couple of months ago.
We wasn't breaking bread though.
Yeah, it's about a couple of months ago. But however, we're back and we're back live again. And this time we added extra seats so Elder Tim could be in front of the camera, and we can and the questions come direct in front. So it's good to have you. So we want to just say thank and shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy what you're listening to today on The Perspective, brought to you by Rock and the Met. As you all seen, the flyer, even the title in the subtitle of this dear broadcast we're in today, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to bring up the flyer again just so you guys can be abreast to what we're all right, Nakbah. And also dealing with immortality. Now, I believe these are two separate subjects, but they're going to tie in together as Prince is going to bring it out today. And like I said, on The Perspective, we like to have thought be brought forth and to engage in conversation and education as well. So without further ado, Prince, you have the floor.
Yeah,
You want to explain to us a little bit? You want to explain to us a little bit about what is Nakbah?
Okay. The interesting thing, Nakbah really means disaster or destruction.
Yeah.
That's what it means. So, heretofore, when you referred to Nakbah, it was relative to the Palestinian-Israeli issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not only the Palestinian-Israeli issue, it's the Eurocentric world. Doing what they've been doing all the time, land grabbing and taking things that don't belong to them.
Okay.
And so,
Hold that 1 second. We get a little adjustment here for you so everybody can hear you loud and clear. All right. Make sure they can hear you loud and clear.
Hey man, we ain't want to block his handsome face now.
No, it's not black. I got a good angle on it. That way you can see right more into it. There you go.
We want his wife to say, "Baby, I couldn't even see you."
We just want to make sure, that our guest is being heard. The main importance of having this broadcast today, we want to make sure the guest is being heard. So,
Can I interrupt one moment, Zakim? Can we, before you get into the depthness of it, elaborate on that Eurocentric, don't have to go through Eurocentric Christianity, but talk about the colonizer.
Well, we got to stay on the Nakbah first and bring them into that.
Okay, well, we going that way.
I'm going there.
You going that
Where
way.
you going? Where you want to go?
I'm going. You know, I'm always ask you.
So, we were talking about Nakbah. And Nakbah was really a creative situation relative to the conflagration between the Palestinians, and most people would say the Palestinians and the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the Palestinians and the Nazis, because many of the Jews are just Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
They're Jews in disguise. They're Nazis like Netanyahu and all them guys. That's the mob. The Nazi mob. And most people who are on a geopolitical level, they know that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's just our people don't know that.
Right.
Because in the book of Joel, it says, my people were destroyed. My people were destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
Not just the lack thereof, but they reject knowledge.
Exactly.
So we been spending most of our time in the ostrich position.
Mm-hmm.
Our heads in the ground, and people been kicking us in the butt because we can't see what's coming.
No.
So the people think that this thing just started overnight, but the thing we need for everybody to know is history is destiny if you don't change the sentiment.
Yep.
And so the sentiment of Eurocentric hegemony, the will to annihilate people and kill whole cultures and just kill, period, is their thing. And so when you're watching Game of Thrones, that ain't fiction. This is how they roll. They kill each other. They are more, how could you say, unified now than they were before the whole Game of Thrones thing, only because they had something in common. And what they had in common is they wanted the whole world. It was the first time a species come to the earth plane talking about they want it all.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when we was talking about the Anthropocene.
Yes.
It's like that. It's like a game for them.
It's a game. It's all a game, but it's a game of death. This, what you really got to understand. If the creator, or what we call God, or whoever we call God, if that is synonymous with good, goodness, peace, truth, justice, mercy, love, and understanding, wouldn't the devil be the opposite?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, at what time would he be good?
He tried to run that same game in the submarine, didn't he?
Same game.
The same game.
Just played on people that wasn't aware. Like you just said, when our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. As I think you quoted Job, but also in Hosea it says, you know.
He did. Hosea 4:6.
And so we continue to see this.
I meant to say Hosea.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah,
I said
okay.
Joel. But
So when we continue to see this and perpetuate, and you said something earlier about almost like when people don't know history, it continues to repeat itself, and it keeps happening to the point where now, I think we're at a different time now where people are actually starting to kind of look at what's going on, and even like this topic, you know, this is a great topic that when I asked you, I said, what's a good title that you want to bring in today? Because you got a wealth of knowledge, you know so much history, but you also speak of this history, how it relates to today as well.
relates to today.
Because catastrophic events, disaster, that's what we continue to see. It's waiting on us as the children to restore what's being destroyed.
Well, the problem is the waiting on us.
Yeah.
It's fiction. For the last 460 years, black people have known no other rulership than white people. They've known no other education than what white people provided. Known no other religious reality than what white people gave to them. The psychology and sociology come from the deprivation and the disorientation and the diabolical acts of white people. So black people don't even know who they are in America, where they come from. And everything they process through the Eurocentric mind. You got their education, you understand? You got their indoctrination.
That's right.
You don't know nothing else. So a lot of times you think you're making strides, but you're using all the stuff they gave you. You understand? So I was on the radio last night in Philadelphia. I was working to help them understand that we live in a cognitive dissonant unreality. That means we don't even live in reality. So I asked them, I said, we got millions and millions of intellects and scholars that can go back as far as you want to go back. I said, but where are the people who dealing with the present? Where are the people who dealing with the here and the now? But everybody's an expert on going backwards. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying cognitive dissonance. We are not living in reality. Therefore, our reaction time to everything is extremely slow, or it ain't no reaction at all. And this is what we're dealing with right here, right now, to today. That our people don't know whether they're coming or going. And when I was on the radio, they had a brother come on, and he was talking about the housing situation in New York. And he said they done gerrymandered so much stuff, they done created all of these laws that black people can't do nothing in real estate. Nothing. And you know what he said at the end? He said, we done. And he was trying to tell the people in New York, y'all done too. We done, because if land is supposed to be the main object by which we grow and develop and create wealth and create stability, and you live in a world where they don't want you to have no land. And so somebody said, well, you know, when we were freed, we got land. I said, you were never free. What are you talking about? Free? You still under the illusion that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves? I said, y'all talk. I said, all y'all do is talk. All the talking is, they say the same things and repeat the same things over again, like they don't even investigate what's coming out their mouth. I said that the reality is, in the early 1900s, black people had cumulatively 5 million acres of land. today, it's less than 5%. So I'm saying, if you're living in a world where they keep you from having everything that will make you well, you got to look at that. So what kind of deals you trying to make? You know what I'm saying? Make a deal with who? Because the Indians, us, the native Indians, us, because before white people were here, this was tribal land. Thousands of tribes. Now, some of you didn't come over in chains and boats, which meant that you were in a tribe. So my admonition is that you find out what tribe you are and get with it. Because that is also your solidification of your legacy in this land, which is actually your land. But I have to teach you how, when you watch the cowboy movies, that you rooted for the cowboy against you. The Cherokee, the Navajo, the Apache, and all that kind of stuff. But the natives, they said that the white man speak with forked tongue. So he lied at the drop of a hat. He'll do whatever. He'll sell you some land and then take it back with him in the domain. Matter of fact, they tell you if you buy land in America, you don't even own it.
Yeah, you still got them taxes. You don't pay those taxes.
It's not just the taxes. White people,
Take it when they want it.
their world is backed up by one thing, what they call manifest destiny. Now, y'all got to hear this. Manifest destiny means because I said so. There ain't no paper backing them up. There ain't no God backing them up because they're amoral. There's nothing backing them up. They doing what the hell they want to do, which is to create hell on earth. Yeah, I know sometimes people say, well, I can't believe somebody would do that, but that's not what you're saying. What you're saying is you wouldn't do it because you got some morals, values, and principles.
That's true.
Hallelujah.
But we wind up trying to project that on the devil. A book that's all right with you.
Speaking of that, once you read it, I got to ask you a question about the book as well. You know, you probably already know I'm going to ask.
Well, you gotta ask. You gotta
He
ask.
said he was coming back to see us. He was bringing us a book.
We, meaning the African Hebrew Israelite nation of Jerusalem, we celebrate the activity of so many people on this earth saying no to Eurocentric supremacy, and evil, and satanic activity, discarding mysticism and simply embracing reality and good. Now, before we go on, let's make one thing perfectly clear. When we hear the terminology Satan, the devil, and Lucifer, we must view them in literal terms. We must view them in literal terms. So let's put it like this. You can and have at various times recognized the devil, Satan, or Luciferian behavior in individuals that you know and have had relationships with and worked for and believed in. You know it and can recognize it when you experience it in the only way you can. You experience evil, the devil, etc. every day through human activity and interactions. Yet, you don't want to call them the devil. You don't want to call it Satan. You don't want to call it Lucifer. Because you do not want to view them as the devil, Satan, or Lucifer. Now, let's look at that. You see the demonic behavior. You see the hate for mankind and creation. You see the ceaseless violence and racism, death and destruction. Well, you are seeing and experiencing the devil, Lucifer, and Satan in the behavior of evil acting men and women. Ain't nothing fictitious about that.
It's actually happened.
Well, many of you are experiencing it firsthand, the least of which, and maybe the most subtlest, is your hero worship of soldiers. People who have been hired to kill people that they don't even know. I don't care what culture it is. But you tell me, the innocent. Because the innocent, the ones go to war. And not only that, more civilians get killed in all these wars
Yep.
than the soldiers.
Yep. Keep it pressing the oppressed.
I'm saying, but you're seeing this stuff. Well, you tell me, what could you conclude at this moment if you are seeking truth? There's no doubt that the whole world has been deceived by men and women who are satanic. They are the devil, and if you prefer, Lucifer. Men and women who are forced to perform horrendous acts of violence and mayhem on the behalf of America. Now, one day, we're going to substitute another word for America, and if I was to use that word right now, I would read this sentence like this. The Satan, the devil, or you prefer Lucifer, men and women who are forced to perform horrendous acts of violence and mayhem on Germany's behalf.
Nazis. Nazi land.
The Nazis run the world. The Nazis run America. Israel is America, is Germany.
Same people.
It's all the same. The Russians, they're all the same people. But they got to fight because that's their nature. They got to make war because that's their nature. This is Biden's war because every president gets a war. And a war ain't like somebody stepping on your shoes and you mad because you got spots on your shoes, you punch somebody in the face. The wars don't start like that. Wars are planned years ahead of time. You know, any geopolitical war is a political instrument. Now that's what you got to understand. That's not if or maybe. This is how the world works. So we go into Nakbah. Nakbah means disaster or, destruction, all of that. Because this is the third time that they did the Palestinians like this.
Yeah.
When we go all the way back to when the Allied forces, World War I and all of that, they had their eyes on the Ottoman Empire.
Yep.
And when they fought the Ottomans, what everybody really didn't understand, they wanted to neutralize the Ottomans so they could take the land. Which is what they did. The problem with the picture that's being painted, which really ain't fair, ain't nobody telling you that the Palestinians are Sunni Muslims. And Sunni Muslims were the Muslims that originally put black people in slavery.
You talking about the sub-Saharan slave trade?
Yes.
That's still going on today.
Still today. As a matter of fact, the conclave is in Mauritania.
Yes, it is.
They still got slaves. And when you see people missing and people kidnapped and all of this is slavery.
Isn't their terminology for slave black? The terminology black man means slave for them.
Yeah.
Just like negro was for the Spaniards.
That's right.
People of color.
That's right. So the Arabs taught the white people how to be slaves. Now, so you got all of these descendants of Sunnis, and some of them still Sunnis, and the reality is if you still beholden to your Sunni nature, you understand? It's a reason why when you go in the neighborhoods, Arabs run the stores and they don't hire nobody but their own. And what they'll do, they'll talk down to you and all of that. Because they know your legacy is slavery. And you have not demonstrated any behavior that says that you're not like that. Or that you've even come out of that, because how can you look to the same one who enslaved you to save you?
And to teach you as well.
But you'll go to them.
In a heartbeat.
You'll ask them for favors and all this kind of stuff, and they go back and laugh at you if they don't laugh at you in your face. Because everybody done used the black man. And right now you're dealing with a situation. There's a movie that just came out called Killers of the Flower Moon. And it's about the Osage tribe who oil was found on their land. And they became rich overnight. But you have to see this movie to see how the jackals and the demons descended on these people and made them sick. The women was dying. They had created a situation where the men were impotent.
With the water.
Yeah, with the water and a whole bunch of other stuff.
They poison.
They're poison.
Yeah.
And then all these Indians, they had diabetes and all this stuff, and they were injecting them with stuff to kill them. They wasn't even injecting them to make them well. But you gotta see this movie. It's gonna be the blockbuster movie of the next 2-3 years, because the one thing the white man will do, he ain't scared to show you how he do his thing.
I was just talking about that earlier. They ain't afraid to show it.
He used to say it was a book. You want to hide it from black people. It's a video.
Yeah.
It's in plain sight. So you sitting there watching it, and I'm saying, like Nakbah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, black people had their own Nakbah.
Yeah, we did.
Destruction. Disturbance. Hell on earth to this very second. So while everybody's talking about the Nakbah, the people who commemorate the Nakbah are the same people that did what the Jews did to them.
Yeah. It's a perpetual.
Or should I say the Nazis?
Yeah.
So you want to ask me a question about the book? It's okay.
Yeah, so I know that's War, Destiny, Freedom, but you said that I'm sure you're finished now, right, with the addition to it, or is just the
Well, I'll change the title.
yeah, you changed to War,
So,
right? What is it now?
I'll change it to Freedom. I'm going straight
okay.
no chaser.
Freedom. Straight freedom.
Yes.
When can we expect to be able to purchase a
Okay.
copy of it?
It's probably going to be about another 17, 18 days.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
I thought you were about to say
Well,
18 weeks or something.
the last, I just went through the last edit about 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so that version is going to come out for Kindle and all of that kind of stuff. And then we'll be dealing with Amazon to print them. And as soon as they finish that edit, which should be any day now,
Okay.
then another 2 weeks, something like that, then we'll be
Look
out,
forward to
because everybody got to get this book.
Yes.
Because it's the only one like it, where you get a comprehensive view of how you got in the situation you got in.
Yeah. And being that, like I said, when we talk about Nakbah, it's not just only what happened in Palestine, but, you know, it's like apartheid everywhere. Every time the British put their hand on something, because they all the same,
That's why they put their hand on
the
everything.
colonize, break it up and to scatter it.
Yeah. They don't know anything but destruction, man. They kill their own people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in the first Die Hard movie, when they moved everybody up on the roof, and they were waiting to get airlifted off of the roof. You remember the Die Hard movies?
Yeah.
Okay. The two FBI agents in the helicopter, and they having a conversation, and the one FBI agent says to the other one, "How many people are you willing to lose?" It's called collateral damage.
That's right.
And collateral damage is the main reality of how they operate. Because they make you think like they didn't mean to kill somebody.
Yeah, like it's an accident.
They meant to kill everybody they killed.
Absolutely.
Only we sitting around trying to give them some more high ground. And they don't deserve nothing. And I'm talking about the white man who look black.
Uncle Ruckus.
Because we done had so many sellouts, it's ridiculous.
It's a shame how we just so loyal to
the devil.
And you know, and we talk about this all the time. We talked about the one thing earlier today about the devil doing what he's deceiving the whole world. But even in the Bible, the Brit Howard Shine, when he talks about strong delusion, then you said, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. Then you got Romans 1 when he said, I turn them over to a reprobated mind. The odds are so stacked against, because instead of trusting and believing in the Most High, we believe our oppressors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna probably be mad at me.
Talk about it.
When we use the terminology of the Most High, that's to satisfy the moral underpinning in our own lives. That which keeps us in the context of being good people, or being fair, just, and equitable. But if the Most High, y'all got to hear me now.
I'm listening. Come on with it.
But if the Most High perspective, so.
But if the Most High,
what you got.
if the Most High is all that, why has it gotten worse? What I'm saying to you is that fundamentalism. So how do we feel we're going to get better? And it's going to get better if we're using the same fundamentalism. Because at the end of the day, it's what you think, what you say, and what you do. Your contextualizing that by saying the Most High, that is a, how could you say, it's a here's a terminology I'm looking for, but let's just say, it's a good thing. However, you ain't fighting nobody.
So what you say, because we was kind of talking about this earlier.
And
I think even when you said that, right, about when you, and I kind of get where you're going, where you're saying, like, of course right now we speak English, right, which is not originally our ancestral language, right, because it goes further back. So when we go back there,
that's if you know ancestry.
That's what I'm saying. What I was saying earlier. And you start digging, you start saying, like, hold on. It's Western mindset versus what originally was. It's a complete.
But check this. You don't know what it originally was.
We gotta get it.
This is what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is makes absolute sense.
Okay.
We don't know. So if we don't know, we should be creating in the here and now.
So renew our mind. And
well, to get your mind working in the first place, to create an environment where you can tap into your inner reality. And whether you call it the Most High or whatever, I don't have a problem what you call it, but we got to know that at the end of the day, if somebody come in and drag your children out your house and you jump on them, or kill them or whatever, if you kill them, you might say, well, the Most High did that, but the Most High didn't do that, you did that.
You know,
now you're stepping on toes.
No, it's, you know what? What he's saying is true. But see, so many in Eurocentric Christians, that's how they process things.
Because we've been taught to be mystical.
Yeah, they process it. I listened to a young man this afternoon. He was bringing it on, but everything he was saying, and to the degree that he was saying it, it was delusional. And I said, even though he come in with scriptures, but he still operated in the delusion of
In mysticism.
yeah.
And mysticism is not concrete.
And it keeps you out of reality.
It keeps you out of reality. So now somebody come in and drag your children. Now we get up and jump on them. I ain't gonna say the Most High helped us out. I'm gonna call names. Now we ran them crazy ball heads out of town.
All right, Bob Marley.
What you say?
I said, all right, Bob Marley. You know you got that song.
That's right. That's right.
Crazy ball heads.
And what I'm saying, I'm not stepping on people's moral underpinning or overpinning.
But it's what you said earlier, though. You said it. You know, it's the lack of, and we think that we're trying to be consciously aware of our morals.
Yes. Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah, but it's hard to do that because we don't even know what morality is.
We've been taught.
It's been changed and shifted.
That's right.
But y'all on it. This is what I'm saying. We got to be the men that are dealing with and living in reality, because that's the only thing that's going to help our people.
Ooh, my God. George Clinton said the same thing.
Who did?
George Clinton from the Parliament.
You know he was a friend of mine.
I know now what he said fantasy is a reality in the world today. He said, I keep hanging in there. That's the only way. He said, wow. Oh, that's what George Clinton said, man.
He also said in one of his songs, one of the refrains was pimping your instincts until your ability to think was amputated.
Now you know all the stuff y'all saying right now. It's like I said, it's like this wordplay or parable. But you see the wisdom of the proverb that comes from our people.
Yeah.
And it's not just this taboo fall thing. It was given. We must know to understand it, right? Because it's supposed to be passed down. But when it's been separated from us for so long, it's like it says, you got people that's living outside of reality, almost like the Matrix.
The whole world's living outside of reality. The whole world is the Matrix.
And then they got you the placebo syndrome.
And all of them taking the wrong pill.
And they said cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. And not only cognitive dissonance, we also have the syndrome. What's it called?
I can check it on here.
We done had cognitive dissonance, and all of these things have been, put on us.
Yeah, it's been.
In military terminology, they would say psyops, psychological operations, right?
Talk on it.
Yeah. So, so we had Willie Lynch, and you know what they said to Willie Lynch? They said if you practice this, he said we'll get 100 years out of it, and maybe we'll get 300. But now they only got 460.
Yeah, it's overload now.
You understand what I'm saying? The syndrome I'm talking about is called the. This is a syndrome they created for Patty Hearst to get her out of jail. It's the syndrome eventually are doing everything you can to prove to the white man that you're a good nigga and he could trust you. It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm showing you, all this is in my book. I'm showing you how you've been psychologically induced into sleep. You just getting up during the day, open your eyes, do whatever, but you still sleep.
That's the Matrix.
What is it called? Sleepwalking.
Yeah.
You know.
Sleep.
Remember in the Matrix that part when they showed them when Neo saw the fields of people because they was using the people to energize the world because they scarred the sky. But however, they was just giving them a fantasy, and they was just laying there sleep.
Well, you can go do first person. They've been doing us like that. These are psychological programs, and these programs are in a vault somewhere. There are files and files on how they deal with black people. You know what I'm saying? The major conclave is in Menlo, California. There are over 3,000 nonprofits, and their job is to manipulate public opinion and to study the algorithms of every person, every culture that they come from, so they can create programs that'll make the people do what they want them to do.
I've been hearing that word all last week, algorithm.
Yes.
I've even read it a couple times.
Yes.
Some of the things that I read. And that right there.
Yeah, algorithms. They study the algorithms of everything on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know how everything ticks.
Yep.
Because they want to know how to kill it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or control it.
Yep.
Control is killing.
Well,
So when I'm saying killing, all of that stuff is under killing, because if it's not making you well, it's doing what?
Yeah, killing you. And that's what I was just telling you earlier. Like, you get up, like probably when you was heading here. Like, say if you came here every week, right, to just do a topic or whatever.
that'd be good.
Eventually, it's your phone's gonna say you're 13 minutes away. It's like,
Yeah.
how you know where I'm going?
Right.
it's just that what's consistently
It's the whole thing about the internet. The internet is a psychological tool.
AI.
They create a situation where if you do something maybe 3 times, they start sending you information on that thing.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's not no.
So now you're waking up, you getting all of this stuff
right.
that's relative to what you was thinking.
Yes, yes. Look at some of
It's in your subconscious mind now.
It is your subconscious.
Yep,
mind.
it's telling you
That's
this
that
is what you
AI.
want.
That's
Yep.
that AI that you, when you brought that to me the first time, I was like, I said, he's on to something. But then I thought about it. When I was looking at a certain thing on YouTube,
That's right.
everything else just flowed.
Yeah,
I didn't even have to.
But for those who are conscious, it works for us.
Hmm.
It works for us because we need all the information we can get.
Yeah.
Hey,
And they ain't discriminating
no.
unless it's something so sensitive that they had to cut people off from.
Like I said, take advantage of it while you can.
Well, I told my neighbor, I said, you better be careful calling me because I use certain words that make them want to check you out.
Mhm.
And I look at certain things that make them want to check you out. I said, because that's why I spend the majority of my time is trying to infiltrate that knowledge that they
Oh, okay, well, let me show you something. That's how thorough they are with the indoctrination and the ability to make you sabotage yourself.
Mm.
Here you are. You just said that, you spend your time doing this and this and this and this.
Mhm.
But the word you used was, I spend my time trying.
Don't try, do.
And trying implies failure.
Mm.
It's saying that you're not committed
Mm.
to the victory of a thing. So this word is sabotaging your mind.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's why I have a whole thing about getting rid the revolutionaries. I mean, people who are really serious about this thing, evolutionaries. We can't use the language that has been damaging us.
Defeat.
That's good.
Because, let me, in deference to you, I'm just going to take it a little further.
Go ahead.
Once you get something on your mind and you begin to react on it, you're actually doing it.
Yep.
So now, why would you use the word try and then erase yourself?
He deplete everything.
Hold on. That's like the Lost in Space. It's my program, Will Robinson. I've been programmed, Will Robinson.
Yeah, we also said danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
I stand to be corrected. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because if we're going to be free, we got to know the tenets by which we free ourselves. And one of them is a language.
That's right. That's right.
I wish I.
Mm.
What are you wishing for? Wishing ain't don't build no bricks. It don't create bricks for a house.
Sure no.
The energy does it. Or I hope it's not a plan.
Now see, I'm glad you said that. Because now we go back to the Eurocentric brainwashing of Christians. Because they, instead of talking in that victorious way, they gotta bring themselves down to a humbleness. Down
And
to a humbleness.
and
They
you-
think that they're accomplishing something by being humble. What did David say? He said, I already killed the lion and the bear. Who is this chump right here?
What we gonna say?
So
But am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't go out there and say, I think I could take that chump. He said,
He
I
said it.
killed the lion and the bear.
He
Who
said-
is that?
he
Who
said-
is that guy right
He
there?
said he's just an uncircumcised heathen.
Yeah, and look how all the other soldiers was like, even his brother told him, don't get so full of yourself, and
Yeah, to bring you down. Like
Yeah.
humility is
Right.
the thing. See, that's what I'm saying about the language, right? The language is terrible.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people have problems with me because they may say, hey, you ain't humble, man. I said, right.
There you go.
I'm real.
I can go back.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to pat myself on the back, but it sure would behoove you to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing your children a disservice. But you use it all the time. I'm doing this for my children. I'm doing this for my children.
yeah.
And you just living life like everybody else and ain't doing nothing for your children.
right, and then the next generation is saying the same thing.
Man.
That's that
That's
Gideon
getting down.
nature right there.
Huh?
That's that Gideon nature. Because Gideon tried to talk his way out of that so many times.
Yeah.
Well, if we turn the fleece over and tomorrow it's wet on this side but not that side.
Well, that make you see that a lot of this stuff that white people learn, they learn it from black people.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you?
You said the youngest one out there. You have 3 children. Yes.
Yep, 3 children, the youngest
Hey,
going to imitate what
we
they
talked
others do.
about you today, man. We talked about you, Zachary.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
talked
man.
about you.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. And I was gonna say we're gonna take a commercial break.
Okay.
So just in case anybody got to use the washroom or anything, we're gonna take like a 2-minute commercial break, and then we'll be right back and we continue where we at. So with that, let's hit our commercial, and we'll be right back.
All right. Okay.
Alrighty, we're back. Thank you all for tuning in to this show today on The Perspective. We're dealing with Nakbah, we're dealing with immortality, we're dealing with all the discussions that's going to be brought forth tonight as Prince is going to be leading us on this second session, second part of the this broadcast tonight. And if you have questions, anytime you do, please put them in the chat, and we will get to them as we can. And also, if you guys had any technical difficulties with the sound, please let us know in the chat as well, so we make sure that the broadcast is streaming perfectly, all right, and the sound is coming through. You guys may have not heard the last commercial, but I will play it again towards the end, so you guys can catch it. So thank you all for tuning in. All right, Prince. We're back.
Okay, I'm going to digress a little. I'm going to read something from the book of Amos, and you tell me, does anything sound familiar? Now, the document is 6,000 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's, if you hear anything, just raise your hand. Remember, this was thousands of years ago. And the title of the book, which is Amos, it talks about the judgment of sin. Right? And I want you to listen, because y'all gonna be raising them hands. This was years and years ago. Right? So there's a caveat to this, which I'm going to explain after your raising of your hands for like 10, 12 times or whatever, you know. Okay. The words of Amos, who was among the herdsmen of Tekoa, which he saw concerning Israel. Number one, I mean, if it sounds familiar, you got to raise your hand.
Okay.
All right. Israel.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in Israel, in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. All right. In the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 days before the earthquake. He said, the Lord will roar from Zion, right? And utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the inhabitants and the shepherds shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. Carmel. Right? It said, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Damascus. You see the picture coming into view?
Oh, yes.
Now, this was 6,000 years ago. Y'all got to hear this. The names are relevant today.
Yes, they are.
It said, and I will not turn away from its punishment, because they have thrashed Gilead with a thrashing instrument. But I will send a fire into the house of Haziel, which shall devour the palaces of Ben-Hadad. I will break also the bat of Damascus. And you know, Damascus is where?
Over there in upper the Palestine. Over there in Palestine. Yeah.
Okay. And will cut off the inhabitants from the plain of Aven, and him that holdeth the scepter from the house of Eden, and the people of Syria. All these names sound familiar, don't it? But this is a 6,000-year-old book.
We're talking about the people we're talking about right now in that war.
I'm getting ready to show you. Thus saith the Lord God, for 3 transgressions of Gaza.
We gotta raise our hand, right? Sound familiar.
And 4, I will not turn away its punishments, because they carried away captives.
My people.
You understand?
Exactly.
These are the Sunnis. But their transgression has not been forgotten.
I'm good, man. Yeah.
Because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza.
Still the same name, man. Yep.
Which shall devour its palaces. Now you see the destruction that's going on. And I will cut them off. I will cut off the inhabitants of Ashdod. We live in Ashdod in Israel.
That's where you was in '69, right? Ain't that something?
It says, and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon. Ashkelon was the first place they bombed and slaughtered all them people.
In '48.
Recently.
And right now, yeah.
We live in Ashkelon and Ashdod. But I'm showing you, this is from 6,000 years ago. History is destiny if you do not change the sentiment.
Exactly.
So this evil been going on for generations and generations. So I'm just going to pick some.
But you never hear him preach about this.
So they mention Ammon, Gilead, Rabbah, Moab, this whole book is about the judgment that have come on those who have been sinning the whole time.
You know, that's an awesome book. I love that book. I love how when it talks about, they try to talk back to him and say, when you destroy it, we'll build it back up.
That's right.
That's their attitude. That's their attitude.
That's right. That's
When
their
you come and
attitude.
destroy it, we'll build it back up.
And you got Samaria mentioned in here. You got Bethel, Gilgal. These are all in play, like right now. Feeling the wrath of their own activity.
They're much Semites.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but you got. I just wanted to read it to you because these are contemporary names in this book. So what did they know? They know it's going to keep going because the leopard can't change his spots.
It's perpetual.
The devil going to keep doing what he's doing. He don't care nothing about the fact that he don't care nothing about retribution. He don't care nothing about karma, all of that stuff that people make up. You understand? You put yourself in whatever you get for your behavior. If your behavior creates problems, then it's going to keep creating problems until you stop becoming problematic. They knew that this thing was going to keep going until it got to a head. Now remember the Valley of Jehoshaphat and all of that,
Joel 3.
where all the nations would be drawn down to this thing that they referred to as Armageddon. Right?
That's my favorite scripture too. I take it too, man, because it's showing perpetually. It's showing what he's gonna deal with, but not only that, it's showing the people that he said, because you didn't give them no reparation. You traded a boy for a harlot, and you traded a girl for a barrel of wine. Man, it talks about them people. I spoke that to some people and they didn't know what the world I was talking about. I said, who in the world that didn't get reparation, man?
You keep waiting on the devil to change his spots.
He ain't gonna do nothing.
He's not going to do it.
Who was that rapper that said, I try to help you all I can, but I can't do nothing for you, man?
Because they are compelled. Right here in this book called Neotech, great book. it talks about the suicide option, right? Because most of our people committing suicide anyway. They know they ain't supposed to be. I was on the radio last night and I was telling them, I said, look, and there was a bunch of women on there too. And I said, y'all gonna be mad at me when you get off, whatever. But obesity is not healthy. You can make yourself look as good as you want. But y'all know y'all go home and have to deal with that obesity, getting in and out of the little tight clothes, you understand? Trying to keep from eating yourself to further weight gain and all of this type of stuff, and the medications you got to take for the diabetes and all that stuff that come with it. Y'all might think y'all look good, but y'all ain't doing good. I say y'all don't get mad at me now. But if you ponder what I'm saying, you'll understand the fact that y'all made it look like it's the end thing. It still doesn't negate the fact that it means that you're sick.
And you know the crazy thing about it, that they all are getting a prayer line to get healed. But yet, that's that
fictitious. Now you making my point because you seeing it everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? So you blame that on the what you refer to as the Most High? It's people doing this stuff to themselves.
Oh man, that's like Russian roulette.
But listen to what it says, and yeah, Russian, German, all of that's roulette. In addition to the false guilt laid on value producers, and these are people who do progressive things, you know what I'm saying, in the business world or whatever, because all of that ain't evil like that, right? It says on the value producers by mystics and cheaters, a subtle psychological block inhibits many value producers from experiencing their earned happiness. The block is in the subconscious. Subconscious fear that sometime in life one must lose his or her happiness. That someday one must endure terminal suffering and pain. Because in your subconscious you factor in failure. You factor in death. You factor in all the impediments that keep you from actualizing who you could possibly be. Because you got a fear.
So, can I say this? So, as you, just like you said, as you put that in motion, it's just a matter of time before it catches up with you.
Now, let me tell you something about thought, right? In the scriptures, there's this word called rivulet. And a rivulet is a stream of water that presents itself in the dryness of the earth. So it might be a trickle from some rain or whatever, but it's called a rivulet. The reason why they mention the rivulet, because the rivulet is how the mind works. Because the thing that you ponder the most, the things that you ponder the most are rivulets in your mind. And every time you access, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And it solidifies whatever you call yourself believing in.
The fear.
So the rivulet
That's
is a manifestation of what you think about.
That's the same way Hasatan got in on Job. That what he feared the most. That's what, because he got up every day to check his children. Make sure if they did sin, that I got them covered. I'm going to give an offering for them. He was just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Not knowing that God had him covered all the time.
More like he didn't have himself covered.
Well, yeah, he
You
had
know what I'm
his
saying?
back.
We might say, but that's a presupposition.
Okay.
The presupposition is that you're projecting that God has his back.
You are okay.
But that's that mysticism I'm saying.
Okay.
Because if you don't have your own back,
How God got you back, right? That's a good question.
because it's in the thought, the word, and the action.
In him we live, move, and have our beings.
And this is what I'm saying. We can't teach our children to be like us.
And what you're saying right now, what you're proving right now, we have been so far off in the mysticism part
Yes.
of something that we consider sanctimonious or
That's why they don't worry about you.
because the religion they give you go kill you anyway.
Because they already know. They already know if you eat the substance, it's gonna kill you. They already know. And you have, whether you conscious or unconscious, you have to call that suicide.
Hello.
So this is the part I want to get to. Because it talks about that in your life, if you gain something, you automatically have a fear that you're going to lose at some point. It's in your mind. It's in your subconscious. So you spend your time trying to protect that which you gather that is good or that is sufficient for you, but in reality, you can't. You really can't get back from that, because in your mind you fear, if I make something, something's gonna take it away.
Wow.
Or I'm gonna lose it at some particular point. You see how deep the psychosis is.
Oh yes, very much so.
You understand what I'm saying? You buy a house, you understand? You worrying about, hey, I might not be able to make the note or whatever, but you ain't dealing with that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of creating a rivulet that takes you to victory, you dig a deeper hole for yourself.
And sit there and worry. The spirit, well, we ain't gonna say spirit, depression comes knocking at the door.
Yeah, it comes.
Because you dreamed it up.
Because you
gave it a hope
and you focused on it. And if you focus on it, it creates these crevices in your mind, in your thinking. And you can't get out of them. It's like 10, 20 broken records. All right? It says, even without biological immortality, a terminal loss of happiness never has to be endured, so long as the productive person has some degree of freedom and choice. That person can always maintain and expand happiness. Whenever y'all talk to me, you ask me how I'm doing, what I say. I'll say I'm great. I ain't gonna let it be no other way.
Can't be no other way. Marvelous, man. Yes.
It says, if circumstances totally beyond one's control forever eliminate all possibilities of maintaining and expanding happiness, i.e., like no escape situation from a terror, totalitarian torture, death, or the final stages of a painful terminal illness, the individual has the right and option to avoid a terminal existence of unhappiness and pain. That right and option is what they call suicide. So they try to make suicide like it's evil. I've dealt with a lot of situations where people have people on life support. And when I talk to them, they'll say, well, hey, we're trying to keep them around as long as they want. I said, but what did they tell you on the way out? Well, they said they don't want to suffer no more. So why are you making them suffer?
Mm-hmm.
A person has the right to leave the planet if they want to. But they make that evil. So now the person has to deal with, he's in pain, suffering. Now he's got to play that against, that's evil. When he has the right to leave. Got the right to come, got the right to leave. What I'm showing you is all of these little underpinnings that create fear and create situations that we can't get out of and all that, only because they just concepts, man. That's what I'm talking about, immortality. Immortality, the things that they are just, what they dealing with, just concepts. But immortality, and I'm going to show you how powerful this Eurocentric thought is, right? And how damaging it is. Because in immortality, and I had some conversation, intense conversation with some clergy about 3 days ago about this.
I know you wore them out.
I wore them out because I set them up for it, and I said, you're gonna say something that you think is smart, but when I'm through with it, you're gonna see how absurd it is. So I was talking about immortality, about everlasting life in the flesh. So the pastors, they say, oh yeah, we believe in everlasting life, that your soul, when you die, your soul goes on forever and forever. I said, then what do the flesh profit? What does the flesh profit? I don't see you. You don't exist.
Not no more.
So I told the pastors, I said, see, y'all defaulted to death. I'm saying death in the physical. They said, oh, well, everybody's got to die. I said, listen, you espousing a concept and you supposed to be a leader of some people, but you're putting them deeper and deeper into the concept of dying. Because dying is a concept. Even if you think, you grow up and say, well, wages of sin or death. Mm-hmm. So now somebody's dying, and the question you got to ask is, what kind of sins you was doing?
That's all through the Bible. That's all through the Bible.
You understand? But in that same document, it says it's the Spirit that gives life. Mm-hmm. But they go into a fallacy. They say the Spirit that gives life, but the flesh profit nothing. Then what is the point in being alive? Mm-hmm. You see how absurd all of this is?
I think that go back to you saying the Eurocentric mindset of how they took what was ancient and tried to explain it in this modern language and all this other stuff.
And they can't, and they know they can't do it, mm-hmm. but they know they can trick you anytime they want.
Yeah.
So all of these are just concepts, man. Religions are concepts.
Oh man, I say that every day.
Look, my birthday is on Halloween. So every year they unloose the demons of death on my birthday. Yes, I'm timing up for them.
My birthday 15 days before yours.
Yeah. I had to learn to flip that script.
Mm-hmm.
So do y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm saying the erroneous nature of the thinking where concepts that haven't been proven true and ain't true, you live by.
What is that song they had it for self-destruction?
Yeah. Yeah.
For self-destruction.
But it's always what you do. Mm-hmm. What you think, what you say. You can blame it on everybody you want. Cat Williams had this little joke. You say you met this woman, and after a while, they got into an argument, and she said to him, "You messing with my self-esteem." He said, "Your self-esteem? You mean esteem of yourself? Your self-esteem that belong to you? How am I messing up your self-esteem?" Now that's sort of hard to fathom, but think about it. If somebody makes you mad and you say you made me mad, no, that person didn't make you mad. You made yourself mad.
You let them do it.
You reacted to it that way. You could have said, "Hey, good point. Let's eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich." Because why? Because you got choices all the time. I used to say, if I slap you, the first inclination is to slap me back. But you could say, hey, I love you for that.
Yeah.
Because why? Because you have an innumerable amount of choices in everything that you do.
Mm.
And most of the time, you operating from where you are and projecting it on somebody else because they didn't say something you like, they didn't do something you like, and you give them the power over you when you say, you made me mad.
There goes back to the garden.
Back to the snake.
It's that woman.
It's
It's
that
this
woman.
and that. Point the finger and not
She did it.
taking the responsibility yourself and say, it's you.
This is what I'm saying. And I'm saying we can't teach our children the ways of the adversary. They'll never get out from under this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you don't get out from under it.
No. It's an indoctrination. You know.
You understand? So I wanted to bring that up in the concept of immortality because immortality is achievable. Why should I say to myself and say to my children, you got to die from something? What is the point?
Oh, I hate that when people say.
What is the point? What is the point you're making?
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
You're just promoting death. The concept called death.
Yeah.
Why do we have to talk about it at all? Why do we have to put it in the children's hearing? But not only do we put that in, we show death everywhere. In books, videos, movies, you name it. It's a concept. So if I come along and I say everlasting life, the first thing the preacher gonna say, hey, I agree with you. You know, your soul, when you die, your soul will live forever.
Through the death in there.
You factoring it in. How could I know, you understand, that maybe I could live forever? But you always saying we got to die from something, that ain't helping me.
Not at all.
So why can't I just go for it? Don't rain on my parade.
You know, it's funny you say this, but it's not funny, but they teach us one way, but they do the opposite. They do the very opposite. And not afraid to get out there and do it.
That's right.
But we like, nah, I don't think so, you know.
Yeah.
We've been programmed to self-destruct.
That is the point.
That's your suicide.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. And my assertion is how do we unprogram? And how we unprogram is that we have to look at different concepts that are higher and more elevated as we evolve. And we teach those things.
Instead of.
And turn those things into community.
See, every leader can't be a community. Every person can't be a community leader unless they're willing to understand that concept. See, cause if you don't, then you might be good intellectually, or be able to articulate or meticulous, but you're still feeding in.
You're still feeding in. If you can't change the nature by which people think and process things, you can't get good community.
That's how Obama won that first election. I think I can. Even in that right there, even though it wasn't.
I mean, that's a fallacy. I think
Yeah,
I can.
that's what
It
I
ain't
mean,
never.
that.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, but who Jesse? I am somebody.
But he never defined who the somebody was. Because if you ask me, I ain't even gonna say that. I'm just saying.
Go ahead. Say it.
I'm just saying
Say
because
it.
I know the nature of the man.
Say it, man. Say it.
You understand what I'm saying? While he was trying to convince everybody to be somebody, he was doing stuff he ain't had no business doing.
Exactly.
Now, one of the main things, and people, they'll hate on me for some of this stuff, but if they contemplate it and do the research. Before Jesse came along with his business acumen, you couldn't get fast foods in black neighborhoods. Y'all need to go back and look at that. We had to leave the neighborhood and go get fast food.
Even liquor and wine. Oh yeah.
Killing us faster.
Oh yeah.
All this been laid on us. And when you look at it, it almost looks like futility.
Excuse me.
But if I didn't have the experience of developing communities and developing a nation, I ain't really got no business talking. I wouldn't even talk about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was telling the people on the radio last night, I happen to know what I'm talking about. I don't deal to figure stuff out. You know, I believe. Man, I left believe like 40-some years ago. All I did was did everything I can to know. So I'm a person that knows. I don't believe Jack. I know. And if you know, you don't have to believe, because you know.
Yeah, it's internal now.
Because the object is to know.
That's when they did Catholicism. When they did was try to separate us from you all. Those who know,
That's right.
and then replace you all with their theology.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked.
And we had to weather that.
It worked.
You understand? We had to weather that, man, because that's a rough piece. You know, even your friends and your family, the people closest to you, you know, they convince them that I'm a criminal. Now, I'm a criminal. The white person that did everything that has hung us, did whatever, I go rob his bank. Now, if I get caught, the people going to say, oh, yeah, we knew you was a criminal. I'm a criminal.
Yeah, that's the thing that's sad about everything we're talking about. And oftentimes it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, for instance, we can go to the continent. And I'm not saying this everywhere like that, but just for the majority part, it's like they look at the European as God or something, and then treat you like crap.
Treat you like
But
crap.
then
Because
they
them,
act like they're the victim.
that's because to them the European is God. What would make the African Union sign on to the G20?
We were just talking about that too. Now Ukraine and Africa saying Russia is causing the war in Israel.
Right.
You see these games they playing? Like y'all just started your own thing, and like you said, and the reparations coming because they gonna keep funding their own mess.
Of course.
They gonna do
Because
that.
they don't know anything else, man. This is these people are doing what they do.
Mhm.
But what the scriptures show you was that we did it first.
Amongst each other.
See, this is why I got a problem with libations. Because you giving honor and praise to some people who that may have made some bad decisions that got us in the condition we in right now. I need to know who I'm making libations to. If I'm going to do it at all. Because it's just a concept. Ain't no wine going to nobody.
I'm sorry, but you absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
You see how we've been hoodwinked to bamboos?
Oh yes.
You know, it's as close as idol worship, because
It is idol worship.
that's the whole concept. Is like you know, you doing this to something. For instance, I will use Abraham's situation with his father. He already knew. His mind was like, y'all tripping, right? But he went to his mom just to appease his parents. He went and made sacrifice, and he said, all right, he put it on the different the different idols, right?
Yeah.
So then he's like, all right, he came back and it was still there. So he said they didn't eat it. Maybe it wasn't cooked right. You know, he's mocking at the same time. So eventually, what he do, he goes to the one that's the biggest one in there, put the weapon in the big one hand, and he destroyed all the other ones. So then his father comes in there and says, Abraham, what did you do? And he said, how did I do it? The big guy got the thing in his hand. It ain't me that did it, you know. But then he already had him let him know himself. You know I did it. You know I destroyed the other ones. And it's like it was showing like the hypocrisy of his father. This mindset of you thought this thing was real. These idols was real, and you know I did this.
It's the hypocrisy and the fallacy of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because he needed somebody to blame it on, just like Eve did. You understand what she say? Yeah, it was the man. He made me do it.
And then the man said, it's the woman. And then the woman said, it's the serpent.
You see the quandary.
Mm-hmm. That's fallen state of man, too.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I was telling you, like, everything from the time of the garden to now is dealing with a fallen state of man. And trying to use concepts, like you said, to fix what was already broken. You can't fix that. It's already been trampled on. It's been terrorized.
Okay, let me say this.
And it goes back to
I got to deal with that too.
Okay.
The garden is a concept. It's not a truth. It's a concept. Let me tell you what the truth is. The first station of man is innocence. So what we're all working to do is to be innocent. It ain't got nothing to do with no garden, no nothing.
Moralism.
We're working to be better human beings so that we can actualize some of these high elevated thoughts in our lives and in the lives of the people that we cherish. It ain't got nothing to do with a garden. It has everything to do with behavior.
Yep.
So, if you continue to act out, act crazy, and do nefarious stuff, what you are actually saying is, I will not be innocent.
You're going to be guilty. You already putting it on yourself.
Hold on. Is that not, I hate to say it, but is that not what our black females are doing today?
They came from somewhere.
Yeah, but look at how they saying, you know, they blaming everything, the reason why they become lesbians and things of that nature and do what they do, they said because the man is incompetent.
All of these.
But it's fallen state.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like,
but that just goes to show how blind they are.
It's like,
Yeah, but you just can't see. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can't put
If
the
we
wrong
keep
finger.
doing that,
We do
it don't
yeah,
never.
See, you put the finger.
Yep. That's just it.
We're saying
Yeah, see?
that at a certain point,
See?
people do. And if we're going to be any help to anybody, we have to help them with what they do with their minds. So we have to give them other alternatives. Which makes me say to you all, I deliberately picked the subject matter and all this stuff today because it ain't about the audience to me. It's about the two of you.
See?
Hey, this is the second time.
That's why you're in the middle.
I knew you put me so he can swing, get that in swing.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm focusing on the two of you because you're almost there. I'm doing everything I can to take y'all over the top. And help make you the people who are real in the lives of you and your loved ones.
Hey, Morpheus. You know, he got to pull them out, and then he pulled them out. He's like,
Gotta fix it.
they don't want to come out of it.
Remember Morpheus said, is that air that you breathing? Because they were so stuck in the concept of, and he already told them what it was all about in the first place. He said things are meant to be bends, there's rules. But you're stuck in the concept. You know, I can't work
See,
with you.
and even there's a fallacy in that whole piece right there, because the thing about Morpheus is everybody was trying to tell Morpheus he was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept pushing the white boy. And the white boy kept making mistakes and doing all kind of crazy stuff. You understand what I'm saying? But Morpheus was the one running things.
So he didn't believe.
But he would not take responsibility for the fact that he was the guy. That's what the whole Matrix is centered on.
So he pushed it off on Neo.
Put it on there. Neo trying to live up to his expectation, wound up going blind and all that. Man.
Mm-hmm.
And fighting, what's the guy's name?
Mr. Agent, what was his name?
Agent,
Agent.
whatever his name was.
I don't know.
But the fact of the matter,
Smith.
yeah, Smith. Well, the fact of the matter was that Morpheus had the key to it the whole time.
Yes, he did.
He knew all the people too.
He could have beat Smith that one time.
He was beating Smith. The problem was that he began to project on somebody whose right it was not even to be in that scenario.
You think that's the black man in general?
That's
Because we were talking about this earlier too. Like you go to the continent,
You absolutely.
and it's like it's like most of the people they know how to build. They know how to build without like.
Let me say this to you: continent.
Mhm.
That's a catchphrase. It's a concept.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you put all this stuff into it, you project all this stuff into it, and then you have other people who are projecting all this stuff into it, and Africa ain't nothing like what y'all thought it was.
Beautiful.
Shoot, man, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Okay, so
You ever been to the moon?
those guys.
I'm playing with you.
Look, man, I'm saying we are the people who can't afford to be hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Okay.
That might placate your mind. It's beautiful because you saw that. America's beautiful for that fact.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, you gotta hear what I'm saying.
I hear you, big boy.
I drive all over America. America is aesthetically is a beautiful place.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. See, no, that's the thing. Like I say, the place is beautiful. The whole earth is beautiful,
But
but it's who's in it. That's the principality that's
It's
over
the conceptualization
the systems.
of the place.
the systems. Yeah.
Because America is not the land, the water, and the air. America is the concept called America.
Babylon.
That's it.
Yeah, the concepts.
See that?
So I'm not trying to destroy that there's beauty in Africa, but the people are suffering.
Oh, and
You know why they suffering though?
Because they believed in the mystical reality too.
they drank the Kool-Aid.
You just said a few minutes ago that they see the white man as God. What you gonna say good after that? Wait a minute. What you gonna say good after that? Except that the land is beautiful.
So that goes back to what I was saying earlier. The mindset of a parable is to understand that kingdom mindset, right? And to go to the continent, and with this wisdom, what does it do for the people? It helps them break that off their brain, because like people that listen to this, they're on the continent and they like, everybody said they want to come to America because they think the grass is green on the other side.
Right,
it's like
right.
you actually have more freedom
Well,
than a lot of people here. Like people, like we was talking with, we had Dr. Wanda last week, and she was talking about like they think these phones and stuff we got, man, you have to pay for this, and if you ain't paying the bill, you know, you renting it. And if you ain't owning your home, you paying a mortgage or you renting it.
Right.
And you don't own nothing, like you said, about the land. So we getting hoodwinked on both sides, but why they want you to say, yeah, go to America. We're going to take your cobalt, we're going to take your gold, we're going to take all these materials.
Because they take it anyway.
Exactly. So it's like,
whether they come in or not, they got it.
What did that guy say? You played it a long time ago, about a year or so ago. He said the only thing we can do is to keep them in the dark of who they are.
what was it?
Now, it's funny you should say that, because I was going to bring up the fact that there was this politician in Israel who said last week, I'm trying to find it, but said last week, they was asking her about Hamas and all that. She said, our problem ain't Hamas. Our problem ain't the Palestinians. They say our problem is black people. Because if they wake up to who they are and they know that this belongs to them, they coming.
I have a white guy said that. I think I texted to you too. He said the same thing. He said in 1948, whatever they did to come over here don't mean nothing. They just Eurocentric, what they call themselves Jews. That land belongs to the blacks. And if they ever come into the knowledge, that's what God said. If Africa ever come into the knowledge.
Okay, now, why do you think we're there?
You said why everything we there?
Why do you think we're there?
And
We went there because we knew that.
yeah.
And challenged them all the way. So I come back to let y'all know that white people can be whooped because they ain't that smart.
And that's what I'm saying. So the stronghold is us like not making the ability to move. But I'm gonna say my move. This is what I'm saying. We have every reason not to do what you guys did. That's what most people say. Oh, we ain't gotta do it. It's impossible. You know, they think about the distance. Oh, it's too far. The travel, the plane, it's too expensive. But then they'll go spend $5,000 in one weekend.
That's what Dr.
It goes back to like Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
And cognitive dissonance.
There you go. We went
They
full
ain't
circle,
living
right?
in reality. Let's look at. So you live in California, and you're in Chicago, and your grandmother dies. You ain't got no money, but somehow you find money to get all the way here for the funeral and all of that kind of stuff, right? Knowing that when you get back, there's going to be lack based upon your decision. And now look at the fallacy. The person is gone. You only coming to socialize with the people who are in the family. And it'd be better if you say that, because you ain't celebrating with that person. That person's gone.
So where are they?
No, it's not even that. That's not the point.
The person that you know
Yeah, new.
is not there.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
I just got into a terrible argument with a friend girl of mine because she's talked about how much she paid for her husband's funeral. I said, $5 wasn't enough. $5,000 wasn't enough. The lot, the burial, this, that. We wanted to put him up, man. She got.
You ain't putting him nowhere. You ain't doing nothing that he's cognizant of, because he ain't there. This is how deep the rabbit hole goes. If you're gonna be conscious, you got to get all the way into it, because it flips everything.
Man, she got mad at me.
I know she got mad over a concept.
She got mad at me.
Over a concept. A funeral is a concept. It's not written in the universe.
And
It's just a concept.
Everything the guy was doing, I said he was just a salesman, selling you everything he wanted that you thought you needed.
Insurance.
The casket, the clothing, the limos,
Yeah,
all
you just
this
throw away.
stuff.
You ever talking about throw away money?
About 15 grand. What would it cost you about 5 grand? You threw away. You gave him a 10
That's
grand.
what my brother actually said. He said, man, you know, when he made his transition, he said, "Just put me in the box and I'll be good." You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Because
Now the question is, I'm gonna get deep here because we had to talk about this, and we see the scripture, but scripture speaks of it. But we want to kind of, because we're on the perspective, and as much as people don't want to honor it, is the fact that everybody thinks deep, but they don't want to talk about it, and that's why people get stuck in this mindset of this box. They get stuck in a box like this world is so large.
Emotionalism. They get caught in emotionalism.
See,
And so
that's what happened with
when we talking about immortality.
the other day.
We talking about immortality, right? Now, I know as one of the elders, it was actually I think one of the documentaries that you guys had in Demona, and he was talking about when you guys come back in 50 years, I'm still gonna be here. And he was already older at that time. He was, up there, and so he's exercising and doing,
But why would you think any other way, even if you could? Why would you think any other way?
Great.
Why would-
Because if you think the other way, you're guaranteed you're going to roll out.
Yeah, and it's like, and that goes to the psychology of the brain, or how you think of something so long it becomes reality of it.
Full circle.
Well, what they call self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is this hole is deep, man, that has been dug for us. You
It's a great
understand?
golf.
Huh?
It's a great golf.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that I'm working to pull people out who want to get out. I ain't worried about the ones that don't want to get out. The victory is assured to those who are working to get out. We got to get out of these little silly things that we've been dealing and perpetuating and all of that, and causing our loved ones to do the same thing because we the authority and all that kind of stuff. Man, we ain't been responsible.
Not at all.
It's
Not even to us.
called tradition.
But not even to ourselves.
Like the pot roast. You ever heard the pot roast thing?
Yeah, I tell it all the time.
Yeah. You
The
guys-
pot, they just didn't have a pot big enough.
yeah. And that's like the biggest thing that nobody asked. Nobody asked. And then finally, why are we doing this? And that's the person that's thinking. But somebody's still going like, man, but it's working. But you're wasting.
Yes.
But that's, you know what, even in and of itself.
And since we're talking about the pot roast, you got to tell it, because somebody on here probably like, what is he talking about, pot
Yeah, go
roast?
ahead and tell the pot roast.
Because they probably doing it right now.
Oh, okay. So, a daughter comes home, fix a meal for Thanksgiving or whatever, and she sees her grandmother cut off the roast, just cut the slab off. So she asked her mother, I think her mother, she asked her mother, she said, why are you cutting that? And the other story is the ham, but why are you cutting off the ham? So she said, I don't know, ask your grandmama. So she go ask the grandmama, Grandma, Mom's in there cutting a portion off of the a portion off of the ham. I asked her why was she doing that. She said, I asked you. She said, well, go ask your great grandma. So she go to great grandma. I was in the kitchen with Mom. She cut a major portion of the ham, and then put it in the pot to cook it. But she cut a sizable amount. Oh, she said, oh, baby. She said, in the old days, we didn't have a pot big enough. We just didn't have a pot big enough. So we cut the ham. So tradition, and I say this a lot of times, tradition is the greatest drug in the world. Because you're doing something because somebody else did it. Not even questioning whether it's even relevant at all.
And see, there go that parables, I can.
Yeah, it is.
See, if you want to explain somebody, you was talking about your son, you ask him, you bring the pot roast story to him, and then make him think,
Oh yeah. It's another one like the pot roast, man. There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
The
a lot
roasting pan, the pot roast is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the say, hey, why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And we don't question why we do things.
Tradition.
And the traditions
Yeah.
are just concepts.
And my son said, I'm always celebrate Christmas.
You always what?
Celebrate Christmas. I said, you be by yourself, you and your daughters. Well, you know,
Hey,
man.
right? You talking?
His father was hung back in the South. You know, in Mississippi, my father's was hung. So he grew up with his grandmother. So he always wanted Christmas because he was. My grandmother, she lived the life of a white woman because she looked white. His mother, and but his father was from the guys. You know, the white women liked him, and so they lynched him, and so he grew up with his grandparents, and so they all.
I don't think they can hear you.
Oh, I don't know why my throat's so dry, man. I drank plenty of water, but anyway, he grew up celebrating Christmas. My mom didn't, but my father did. And so it became a thing with us to celebrate Christmas because that's what my father did. He would always load us up, wake us up at 2 in the morning, toys all over the front room, whatever you said you wanted, he wrote it down, he got it, he made sure he had it beforehand, you know, you slot car races, train tracks and trains and all that stuff. He always gave us a spectacular Christmas. That's what he did. But then as I got
More evolved.
more involved in the better. Thank you for that one. Because that won't sound like no foolish man.
But see, that's the thing.
But yeah, when I got more involved,
people start really thinking.
understood. I said, man, what do this got to do with
Anything.
Jack and the Beanstalk?
Matter of fact, in Jeremiah, the 17th chapter, it talks about them cutting down the tree with an axe and putting and decorating it and all that kind.
No, that's 10 and 17.
But I actually studied that. I'm not even talking about that. But it's a concept of a tradition.
But the ancient Kemet was doing it long before.
Yeah.
Ancient Kemet was doing it
Yeah.
way
And this is what I'm saying. So I'm going back to something I said earlier.
Mhm.
We got all kind of experts and going way back. We're the experts for right now.
Forward.
Yeah, you're right. He did say
Yeah,
that.
why, you know, and you say that, you know, people will go dig up archaeology to try to figure out. They still trying to figure out how did they do this, how did they do that. It's like you
It's
said,
an exercise in futility. I'm saying you got a contemporary mind that's working right now.
Go forward.
Go forth from there. That's what we did. We just went forth. And I'm saying that we got enough experts on going backwards.
Shoot, our people just know going backwards, ain't they?
Huh?
They're going the way backwards, ain't that? Isaiah, they're going the way backwards.
You know,
That's what the scripture said, dog. People going way backwards.
Before it said backsliding, it
Right.
said going the way
Way
backwards.
backwards.
That's what it said.
And then one opened the book and said, "Read this, perhaps," and you give it to the unlearned.
Isaiah 29.
Yeah.
He said, I can't.
See, we know all these things. But how does it help us go forward?
Is my people a born slave?
Ooh, Jeremiah 3. Is that Jeremiah 3 or 2?
Okay.
There was prophets speaking for it, and it was like how backwards we was. Even they speak now.
That was Jeremiah. Yeah. Are we born slaves? And then from there, look at what happened. Because Daniel came along. How much later than Jeremiah? Because Daniel looked back at what Jeremiah said, the 71 years. But remember, Daniel had the dream of the statue, and he was dealing with King Nebuchadnezzar firsthand.
He was dealing with
But the other thing
nations.
about Daniel is he came forth because his name
Yeah.
meant to judge.
Judge. Yeah.
So that means he was considering. That's why he wound up being the darling of
Both kings.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because he could
Tell
think
him what's gonna come happen.
he could think better than everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I was always when he said there's a Hebrew.
Yeah, yeah.
But see now, they're not looking to us to ask for the solution because we done gone so far backwards. They're like, man, they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, hold on.
Okay,
we
but-
got
but-
Zach
but-
King. We got
But I'm saying now, but I'm saying,
King,
yeah,
man.
That's what I gotta say. You can't use that now.
not now, but I'm
Because
saying
the Hebrew
that's what
is
he was-
coming to get the Hebrew.
But Joseph did it. Joseph was telling like, hey, this was about to happen, right?
Yeah.
Let me help you out, King.
Yeah, because they looking like, hey,
Let me
what's
keep
coming
you from
next?
killing yourself.
Oh no. The funny thing is,
Now, I do want to say to the people who are listening, we're not denigrating anybody's beliefs, religions, whatever. All we're talking about at this particular point is what is the truth and where can the truth take us?
yes.
Yeah, we dealt with that 60 years ago and it took us to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Because we dealing with all of these distractions and all that. How many distractions done happened since
COVID.
no, since the war?
You talking about which one?
We can go back. I'm talking about this one
You
right now.
talking about October the 7th?
Yeah, since October the 7th, it's been so many stories and so much stuff that everybody's just inundated with information that they can't do nothing with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not the people. They're not the people.
What you think it is?
What I'm saying, we got a lot of people who know how to go backwards. We need to focus on the people, and we need to be the people going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah. Did you hear that, young blood?
What is the old saying? Enough parable for y'all about the rearview mirror. Is that for a reason? But it's not. But it's the purpose.
That's a concept too.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't look in the mirror, you just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look back in the mirror, you got all of that trepidation. You got all that interference. You got all of that stuff. You got the police car.
Yeah, and he said objects in the mirror appear closer than what they are.
They sure do. I only use my two side mirror because I want to know what they doing. I don't care what happening back there.
You gotta be like a horse with the blinders on.
You got to be able to focus, especially in this day and time, because there's so much stuff to distract. And all of this stuff is just part of the whole system. At what point are they going to understand? They complain every day. And they complain every day about the conditions and how they unhappy and they...
No, I'm looking at
Huh?
Go ahead, listen, talk, man. I'm good. I'm listening to him. I just want to look at the book. Zakin, every time you come, you drop us some heavy nuggets on our fat heads. And you never bring us our books.
Oh, that's a profound book.
That one right there.
A lot of spiritual intellects got together.
That's the Bible, ain't it?
Yeah.
That one right
That show you how much I use it.
That, hey, shoot, I got some of those.
Yeah, it's,
right
it's
here.
hanging in there.
Yeah.
And so that concept of neotech was about getting to the truth of everything.
Who wrote this? Wallace?
No, it was a whole
Franklin
bunch of intellectual, spiritual people got together and wrote the book. It deals with everything that you can imagine.
Neo mean baby, right?
Hmm?
Neo.
Neo is just
Neo means new.
Yeah, new, but it's like they
Well,
using another
yeah.
old concept, but they just repackage it,
Yeah,
right?
that's
what all these, like you said, Daniel, they always copying Babylon
Neo-mites.
back to the same thing.
Yeah. Let me. I'm going to show you one of the reasons. See, because there's a cause for everything, a cause and an effect, right? And this book deals with all of that.
See, Boss Man in the comments, he said, family traditions.
Family what?
You know, like he said, it's like
Family
an addiction.
tradition?
It's a addiction, like it's an addiction.
Addiction.
Yeah.
Yes. Family addiction. Hey, you got it right. You need to call in and say something.
Yeah, boss man, you want to call in? Just hit my line. We'll put you on the line and voice, because boss man be throwing out some nuggets too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you want to call in, just hit my line and I can plug you in.
We want to hear from that 58.
Okay, I'm going to read from this so you understand how serious the subject matter is.
Uh-huh.
This ain't a book for the squeamish. It talks about the Christian oppression of happiness.
Uh-oh, that sounds delightful. Go ahead.
Right? So it has a timelines. So you're talking about from 100 AD to 385 AD, right? It says the Roman Empire still appeared vibrant, but was surrendering to a new religion, Christianity. Rome plunged into altruism and asceticism. That means they went into mysticism.
But wasn't they in Mithraim? And with first before that, and that is mysticism.
That's right.
That's all that is.
Yeah, that's right. It says the Roman pagan began persecuting the Christians, who became altruistic fanatics and used any means to meet their goals of destroying the life-enhancing and productive aspects of the Roman civilization.
Even blaming the fire on the Christians.
That's right.
Burning of Rome.
Right.
They blamed that
Right.
on the Christians. Continue, sir.
The early Christians heroically formed lightly knit and anarchistic groups for effective protection from the oppression of the bureaucratic Roman government, while laying the foundations for their own greater oppression. What this is talking about is how they ransacked Rome. And they used the religious tenets, concepts, you know what I'm saying, to lower the people's positive energy. That's why it says the Christian oppression of happiness, because the whole idea was to make people depressed. But I'm gonna jump, because at some point I can get you on one of
Remember
these.
when he was talking about that, when I brought up about Job, and then he went in further, and I said that's where that oppression comes from.
Okay, now listen to this, because this is the church. It says, in 5th century, marriage came under church domination. Wait a minute, let me start from here. Augustine, in 354 AD, promoted guilt through his books, Confessions, self-accusation of his pagan, lustful youth. He converted to Christianity in 386 AD, then hatefully using guilt to turn the goodness and the pleasures of man against himself. He promulgated how all were born between feces and urine. His major work, The City of God, speculates how babies might be born from women uncankered by lust, demonstrates passionate hatred for human life. This is the Christian church now. St. Augustine became a master cheater in achieving respect and power by making problems where none existed. He destroyed values rather than create them. In the 5th century, marriage came under church dominion. The decline into the Dark Ages coincided with the rise of Christianity, collapsing under the Christian stranglehold. 6th century Rome was repeatedly ravaged and looted. 1 million population was reduced to 50,000. The city lay in rubbles and ruin. The Senate. The Senate ceased.
How you know?
The Senate ceased for lack of qualified men. The hygiene, science, and culture of Rome was abandoned as Christianity took hold. 585 AD. It says the Catholics argued that women did not have mortal souls and debated if women were even human beings.
Same thing they did with us, right?
Well, that comes from the Greeks too.
Sex. Sex was reduced by Christianity.
We was talking about, that's who they were following was the Greeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We live in, but the Greeks are Germans too.
Yeah.
It says-
they are.
Go ahead.
Sex
Finish
was
that
reduced to
part
Christianity to an unromantic, harsh, ugly act, with penance easily and hypocritically granted to men whenever required. Women became pieces of disposable property. Clergy and popes turned to prostitutes and neurotic sex. The Pope of 904 AD practiced incest and was a lecher
Read that
with the
again.
children.
They practice what?
They practiced incest.
So that's why. Look at what they doing now. They got to pay now. They've been doing this for ages.
They've been doing it.
Yeah.
It says by the 9th century, Christianity dominated. Women were considered property of men. The church sanctioned wife beating. Men were merely fined by the church for killing women. For the Catholic clergy, sex without values, prostitute sex, orgy sex, even forced rape or sadistic sex was not a serious offense.
Isn't that what Watchmagic Sons was doing in the temple? Eli's boy, in the book of Samuel.
Yeah.
What's his name? Both of his sons were practicing that. Right there, and then look at what is that Ezekiel, the 19th chapter. Someone was saying what Yah showed them and said, "Let me show you what they're doing in the temple." And they don't
In the temple.
Yeah.
So Boss Man is called in on the line. I don't know if you want to have something to say, Boss Man, or if you want to just throw something in there. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just sitting here and taking it all in, and I was thinking about something that was said earlier. When we think about about the mind control situation and being indoctrinated most of our lives, but it made me think about the scriptures. But he sent them out, sent the spies out to spy out the land. Everybody else came back with a negative report, but 2 people came back and said, we are more than able to take them. So sometimes our mindset and how we view things and how we see things have to change. Because if they never change, we'll stay stuck in this matrix, and we'll pass that down generation to generation to generation. And what I was meant to say, I probably was typing too fast, but I understood the tradition about cutting the tail off the hand and all of that. I knew what it was about. But man, you guys are spot on it. I'm doing this form. I can't wait till the books come out. I definitely want to put that in my arsenal. Yeah, we like the scripture says, so a man thinketh, so is he.
That's right.
So we have to in tune our thinking. We just didn't wake up just to stay up, just to stay stuck.
That's right.
So now that we're awake, what we gonna do? And to that thing earlier about Jesse Jackson, they called him formerly Messy Jesse.
Messy Jesse.
Messy Jesse.
Messy Jesse.
Messy Jesse.
Man, they don't know how messy he's been. They was on the balcony.
Yeah. Same thing with our shower.
Yeah.
No different.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that what do you call him? He was a justice for the 5th Circuit in D.C. and he was like a friend, whatever. So friend of mine got in trouble, so we flew him in to represent him. On the way from the airport, he said, "Prince, I got to tell you something." So he started talking. He said, "Look, if the FBI is after somebody, everybody you see in the vicinity is FBI." So who's on the balcony?
Jesse.
Now I'm telling you, that's from the horse's mouth. He ain't had to tell me that, but he know I was deep into all that. FBI in the room. FBI agent, everybody's an agent except for the person that they're dealing with. So anyway, we thank you for your comments, brother.
Appreciate you calling in, the boss man. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right, we're going to get back to the broadcast. Go ahead. You got something else?
No, I'm good.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in.
Come on.
Shalom.
So, the moral to the story is this, and then I will further expand the concept because I touched on immortality.
Mhm.
The thing is, that should be our goal. Innocence and immortality.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. And my question is, why not? Because anything less than that, you putting yourself in the grave physically. From thought to reality, ideation to creation. And in the book of Hebrews it says those things that do appear are made by things that do not appear.
That's right.
You can't see thought unless it manifests itself through talking and action.
Maybe from the beginning. Spoke it and he did it. Made
That's
it happen.
right. That's right.
Yep.
And in the Hebrew, the Genesis is the word for Genesis is Bereshit,
Better sheep.
and Bereshit means a beginning.
A beginning, yep.
Because beginnings happen all the time. It's part of life.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So we've been given all the secrets. What we did is we put them to the test. So now we can come back and forth from Israel and all different parts of the world and say, free at last, free at last.
Thank God.
Thank God Almighty, free at last.
Relax.
But I used to, when I used to get ice cream, when the ice cream truck came around, I loved strawberry ice cream, right? So I get the strawberry ice cream, but you know when it tastes better? When somebody asks you for a lick.
Now, with the ice cream truck, y'all know the history about the song?
I know. Yeah. That song.
The Watermelon song?
I had an ice cream truck, soft serve.
Wow.
Yeah, he had that song playing too.
Yeah, I did.
Do you know about the history of that song?
Tell me. Talk to
That
me.
song came out in 1932.
Man, it came out, and
Now,
I'm gonna get
a
lyrics.
soft serve ice cream truck built from the ground up. Yeah, big soft serve and everything. But you know what? What we're talking about right now, those people down in Florida, because I didn't grow up down there. A lady came there, a lady came to my truck one day and said that this is the last time I'm gonna buy from you. Now my truck is all chrome, stainless steel, custom made. I got the works, man, 50 grand. She said, I'm not gonna buy from you no more. And I said, why is that? She said, because I don't want to make you rich.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I'm gonna throw it.
Okay, so tell me about the
so
song.
You know the rhythm. You got the rhythm of it, right? It comes from this old slur or slogan with the watermelon, right? So it goes something like this. It says, "Nigga love." It said, "Nigga love a watermelon, ha 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 ha," and the lyrics it keeps playing, and then the commercial of it shows a whole bunch of blacks or whatever as these cartoon characters going in circles, eating these watermelons and just dancing in the yard, and the song is playing. So imagine you talking about the ice cream truck, and the psychology of it is like we think kids loving this ice cream, but they playing something really what we really want y'all to know. Now, whether it's a stereotype or not, yeah, I love watermelon.
right. I love
watermelon, right? So they got that right, but they did it out of mockery because they always used to like that. They always got to turn something upside down.
Heckle and Jekyll was about black people.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, some of the cartoons when people catch fire.
They sure do. Matter of fact, you're right. Tom and Jerry. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I never even pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's why you don't hear when they chasing. It's quiet, but all the sound, the effects, and all that stuff. It's all subliminal.
Oh, they know what to do.
Yeah,
they've been doing it. That's why everybody's in the state that they in. They've been falling for all of that.
Yep, because it was first for the child that watched Tom and Jerry. Right, people have to get this concept. Like you said, when you look back at it, it wasn't much vocal, but it was a lot of scenery. You seen it. They showed you what they want you to see. A lot of
visual.
And they showed you how the rat operated. He was setting the cat up every time. But don't the cat supposed to be the one that's supposed to be...
Yeah, slick and all of that.
Yeah.
Cats are kind of stupid, man. I got a bunch of them.
Who's that?
Cats.
You got a whole bunch of cats.
They do some stupid stuff, man.
But you can get the concept behind it.
Okay, so more to the story, and we'll delve more into it at some point. Is that we're seeking the truth. We're looking at innocence. That's the first station of man. Yeah, how you deal with that is when a baby comes into the world. It's basically innocent. The problem is that the world that's waiting on them is the opposite. So he's born into hell and contextualized by hell as soon as he breathes. Dealing with the fact later on that his parents have been contextualized in hell too. So they passing on traditions that should not be passed on. And so, immortality, it's better to go after immortality than that.
I like that. It's better to go after immortality than death. Because they always say.
That's right. So that's my story I'm sticking to.
Appreciate it. So we'd like to thank Prince for coming back and sharing with us again another great discussion here as we talk about on the perspective. We're always going to go deep, and we're going to open some of the books, and he has some great ones over there. So if you don't mind sharing them, because Elder Tim always say he always comes with the great books, and Prince, he loves to read, and it's good for us to not just have digital copy, but actually have a physical copy and wear it out, read it, dissect it, and all those things.
Yeah, that's
so I'm going to take another commercial because I want to see if the commercial actually worked this time.
Bringing us.
And hit that because I'm about to hit the commercial real quick to see if it actually plays through this time.
And this is my interview.
I got that.
316.
He gave it to me to read. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Body Balance, for giving us opportunity to show our skills and our handwork. Thank you very much.
Hi, hello, my name is Ade of Zuzu Beauty Secrets. We'd like to thank Body Balance for their huge support, for believing in our brand, and for investing in Africa. Thank you so much. We look forward to your continued patronage and support. Thank you, Body Balance. Thank you.
Wavy.
Value Balance is international. And did you know? Every purchase you make with us, a percentage of the revenue goes towards creating more jobs and partnerships in Africa. People can reach you and they can get in contact with you.
Okay, you putting my email up there?
Yeah, I'm put all that in the description. So we're back, guys, and we're gonna close out with Prince. If anybody had any questions, please put them in the chat. We give you 2 minutes to 30 questions in there. And we just want to say thanks, Prince, for coming out again and sharing with us. And also look forward to that the book Freedom. As you all know, his previous book was War, Destiny, Freedom. But now we're going to look at his new book he has coming out in the next couple of weeks, Freedom. And I can't wait to get my hands on that to really delve into what he has to present to us. So, Prince, you got the floor.
Yes, I'm going to close out with this article that I did in the 316 magazine. Is that all right?
Yep.
The title is "The Revolution Will Be Televised." It said, Prince Dr. Amiel is one of the heads of the African Hebrew Israelite nation of Jerusalem. Man, you know I must be doing something.
Hit that, I'll call you back. Not now, you done already counts.
And for those who don't know, there were the African Americans who left the United States in 1967. Prince Amiel provided, "We are the Hebrews who left America in 1967, went into Liberia for 2.5 years to purge ourselves of as much of the iniquitous behavior as we could, because we knew when we went into the promised land, we would be met with challenges. But we didn't want to sabotage ourselves with bad behavior and life practices because we knew we had to be better human beings to establish ourselves as God's people again." They were determined, but yet struggling in Liberia. We didn't know how to grow food, and there were none of the conveniences of life that we were used to in America. Raining for months, driver ants, black mamba snakes was just a few of the things we were confronted with daily, explained Prince Amiel. Fortunately, we met a group of people from an old Garveyite community who had been living off the land for many years. They taught us how to survive and take care of ourselves. Without their help, we might not have made it to Israel. It's amazing how much food is available if you know how to find it and grow it. Right? After 50 years to date, a courageous, tenacious group of men, women, and children, Pan-Africanists and revolutionaries, Christians, Moors, atheists, and others embarked on a historical journey to Israel. Following 2,000 years of being severed from their original land, the Holy Lands, after being stripped of their land, language, and culture, and being shipped all over the world as slaves and servants of the anti-God and diabolical so-called New World. They emerged successfully, returning to the Holy Land of their forefathers. And the event is that our revolution was not televised. 2 months after Dr. King's mountaintop speech in Memphis, Prince Amiel said, "They, under the auspices of the African Hebrew Israelite nation of Jerusalem, landed in Israel 2 months after Dr. King made that statement. Northeast Africa, fulfilling Dr. King's prophetic utterance that we as a people will get to the promised land. This great endeavor unfolded as we left America. Presently, people refer to them as the Israelites of Jerusalem, the Hebrew Israelites, the black Jews, whatever they call them. They're around 14,000 strong and are spread all over Israel and the world. This is the beginning of bringing that victory to the world. We are now televising the revolution thanks to outlets like 316 and other publications showing the value and good press on black people's behalf. In the late 1970s, Dr. Prince Amiel traveled to Israel and matriculated to the highest levels of leadership. Now he begins to tell the story, told from a semi-autobiographical perspective. In essence, this is a real-time, real-world, personal story of development. Furthermore, the blacks who live in Israel presently are carrying on the quest for sovereignty and statehood through their blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifices. Our people represented the only significant sovereignty challenge to the Eurocentric world and the Eurocentric hegemony as it relates to their PSYOPs prevention programs to deter us from being a people and a nation again. We are now of age and have taken responsibility for all our destinies. Taking responsibility for all our destinies, establishing our institutions, and dealing with education, trade, and commerce. The black Jewish population in Israel has established their cottage industries, running their government, and administrating their affairs. They deal with the constant challenges, impediments, and sabotaging character, assassinations, and slander, etc., from within and without. Prince Dr. Amiel talks about the myriad of racist practices and institutionally structured Jim Crowism of the past to the present. He presents a realistic view of establishing and walking a road never traveled. From delivering our babies, educating our own, employing our own, and feeding our own, we march on to higher heights and expose you, the world, to the life and the story of a people determined to be free. My book, Freedom, is our story and your story. And if you ever felt victimized, disenfranchised, marginalized, and couldn't take it anymore, and decided that enough was enough, this is not only your story, but it is also a testimony to the resilience, the tenacity, the fortitude, and the bravery which celebrates the energy that came before us in our struggle for freedom in America and around the world. Prince Amiel wants you to embrace and read this book titled Freedom to inspire and motivate you from victim to victor.
That's it.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And
so I
that
thank
book
you.
will be out shortly.
Yeah.
So when you come back, we expect to have. Man, hold on, man.
So they're trying on the slide. They're trying to say I can't come back till I bring the book.
Gotta bring that book.
Freedom. He gotta bring the book and he gotta bring the guitar, man.
We gonna get a nice. We gonna play a nice one for you.
We gonna
Get it signed, autograph.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, sign some books.
See if you can get this.
Hey, I found it.
You found it.
Yeah.
You found two of them.
It's probably you can get it for $5.
Yeah, I found one that was 18. You know, it's gonna go up now that you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's the algorithm.
Man,
It's the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's right.
I told you I've been hearing it all last week. Algorithm.
Yeah.
That's right.
And even hearing it on some TV programs I was listening.
So
It's a highfalutin word for how things work. That's all.
So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, Prince, for coming back and hitting us up with another nugget that we continue to
and bring
grow
us
and
some
understand.
popcorn.
It's been man, they're trying to make me bring everything, y'all. Hey, it's been work with you all, and I'm inspired and motivated every day because you all are serious. So
You love, man. We love you, man. How we say it in our native tongue, ahava.
Ahava.
Until the lions have their historians, tales of the hunt shall always glorify the hunter.
I love you, Mommy.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Ruach and Emmet. Any content provided by our guests or authors are of their perspective and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. The purpose of this broadcast is to provide education and thought-provoking discussions. This is the perspective.